I have some major Microsoft news to share with you today. Wiki Page and Microsoft team is on the peace out forever list, and there is no until next time. Come April 2023, the Wiki Page will be officially discontinued. So let me quickly introduce myself and let's discuss what is going on and how this is going to impact you and what you need to do and when. And when this announcement came out, I was like, oh my, this is going to be a lot of work for some Microsoft 365 subscribers. So make sure you stay until the end. I have a recommended workflow as a guide for those with many wiki pages and not sure how to tackle this project. If you are visiting my channel for the first time, my name is Teresa at Try Creation 4E, where we explore, experiment, and execute effectively. Remember to subscribe and hit the bell to receive notices for any new videos that I upload, and I appreciate you in advance. Okay, so let's get back to the news. So Microsoft disclosed on January 11th that the Wiki page will be retired in April 2023. I'm not sure if it's April the 1st or the 15th or the 30th. Microsoft will give you better dates. Now, for people who don't know what a wiki page is or was, it was the default app in Microsoft Teams that were released in 2017, where users could collaborate with their coworkers and external users. It was good for note taking, and I used it for like Teams purposes or knowledge transfer, which, was really great for onboarding new members. It was easy and simple for non-techie users, but it did have its limitations. And none of that matters anymore because it's on its way out. So let's talk about the wiki page replacement. The Microsoft Team version of OneNote is also a collaboration tool. You may have already seen it in the Notes tab in Microsoft Teams where you had to add it manually. So for all new created channels, you would get the Note tab by default. Now, I wish that they didn't do it by default because you end up having all these blank, applications up in the top of the ribbon that's taking up real estate, right? So, but nevertheless, you would get it by default. Now, it is also easy to use and more robust than the wiki page. Now, here are some highlights that I hope to make you feel better about this change. You would get one notebook per note tab, and it would have many sections and pages. You'll get the full Microsoft standard ribbon. Think about in the wiki page, you didn't have that. And a search functionality that is going to allow you to find your information faster. It also comes with the conversation pane, which takes care of all of the add mentions and much more. So there is a separate video that's going to showcase the note tabs feature. Watch for the details at the end of this video. Now, let's talk about how this is going to impact you. The images that I have on my screen was provided by Microsoft, so I wanted you to see what I see. Come mid-February, users will see a banner across the top with a disclaimer. It's going to actually give you the actual expiration date and export to the note tabs and get the details. Now, make sure you read this information because it might be slightly different than what I'm sharing with you today. So for an example, the rollout date may change or the process may change a little slightly, but I'm sharing what I know when I know it, right? Microsoft strongly encourages you to export your content regardless if it's outdated. Now, I echo this recommendation. One of my favorite saying is, as soon as you say you don't need it, you will. Here's what will happen when you export your content. You will get what to expect when you export screen. Once you hit the export to notes, the following screen will appear. You would get a counter of the number of wiki pages being exported. Okay, that's good. You get a confirmation that it's been done. Okay, that's great. But there are a couple things that I want to point out. As shown in this image, the Notes tab will be created with your content. Immediately, the wiki page will become read-only. And Microsoft did say expect some cleanup. You should review to make sure that everything is correct. And I'm only concerned about if the images will import properly. So make sure you check for that. This is important. The layout structure for the terminology between the wiki and OneNote is slightly different. So I want you to hang in here with me and follow me here. So you get the wiki tab, pages containing sections of content. Whereas with OneNote, its flow goes note page, sections containing pages of content. So the reason why I wanted to share this with you is because if you're referencing any materials, you know what they're talking about. You won't get confused. Now, let me know if you like this level of detail, if this was useful to you. Let's wrap up with the wiki page in the service in timeline order. You have 2.5 months to get this process done. And here is a proposed workflow. So everything that I'm about to cover, if you want a copy of this proposed guidelines, the details are available in the description. In January, starting now, inform and prep. Don't start moving content from the wiki tab to the note tab. It's inefficient. I know you want to get ahead of the game, but wait on Microsoft exporting tool. Do not worry about any inactive channels, for they are already in read-only mode, so there's no activity for you here. For any new team sites you create, go ahead and delete the wiki tab and add the notes tab if you want to. Again, for me, I wouldn't want to add it because I don't want it to take up space if it's not being used. Notify your team that the changes are coming and what to expect. This will give them time to process the information and vent before February if they want to, because it's happening. Evaluate your channels. Determine which channels have wiki pages, that with active content. Create a checklist for mid-February. And why is this step significant? A wiki page name may be different because it has a more relatable name than just wiki. You may end up just touching each, channel's tab to make sure that you capture all the wiki pages in advance. I know that's a lot of work, but you got to make sure that you have them all. So before you ask, there is no report that can help you with this process. And if it was, I don't think that the IT team will, run a report for each channel. Some large companies may have thousands of team channels. I suggest that you divide and conquer. And if you don't have a backup person to help you manage the site, it's the new year and begin that recruiting process now. And you guessed it, this would be the first project, right? Okay, so during the evaluation stage, you can alternately delete any of the blank wiki pages because they need to go away anyway. But I do have a tip for you. Now, if you have an administrator who can create and run a PowerShell script to remove all the wiki tabs from your Microsoft Teams about 3 months after the deadline, work with your team. Ask them right now if they're able to do that. Then you don't have to worry about deleting these old wiki page. We had a Hamant. Hamant was our IT guy, and he, was awesome for things like that. So again, check with your IT team. Okay, so let's talk about the checklist for a minute. Now, I would create a checklist with all my active wiki pages for several reasons. One, I want to identify the number of wiki pages that are being converted in February to determine the estimated time that is going to be needed to complete this project. So for me, I would factor in about 15 minutes from start to end. That means the time that I export the information, review it in the notes tab, make sure everything is correct, and in deleting the old wiki page. That means you can get 4 done per hour. Now, if you have to upload images during this process, or you have a larger site, maybe factor in 30 minutes. Then in February, I would use this same checklist, to track my progress. So just in case you get interrupted in the middle of, you doing the export, you know exactly where you left off. And then the last thing that I would do with this checklist is I would share it with my team just to be transparent, because you don't want them to get confused about should they be looking at the wiki page or if they should be looking at the notes tab. So I would actually use it for that as well. Okay, so let's talk about what's going to happen in mid-February. This is when the fun begins. You're going to just watch for the banner and make sure you get all the details. You're going to start converting the wiki pages based on your checklist. You're going to assess the content in the note tab and clean up as needed. Don't forget to watch out for the images and delete the wiki page to prevent confusion, unless you have a IT team like Hamant to run a PowerShell script for you. Okay, so and then all you're going to do is repeat these steps all before the deadline. That's a lot, but hopefully that, this workflow kind of help you if you have a lot going on. That's all I have for you today. Now you know what I know with the Wiki Page Retirement and that's happening in April, how to manage and implement this process. And if you want a copy of this guideline, the link is in the description. I hope that I have excited you about this change. Now go work your magic.